go shopping.
Inkulenu palm soup base, and what is made of?
It's made in 2 different flavors. They have the pure palm nut fruit, and we have the prekese and abeju.
That's very good. Then this will help my palm nut soup preparation in the house very easy. No more pounding on palm nuts again.
Of course, it's going to make it so easy.
Really? I heard all that you were talking about. Inkulenu palm soup base? I need to get my wife one to prepare me palm nut soup.
Available in all West African shops.
And now I'm a fee and you will feel muscle. They come for dental products at the amount. Sabani near Messia. Dental power bleach, a yiffy and inkikawan, dental disinfectant, a yama mochari, baby and carbonio, public toilet, and a gatum, dental antiseptic, a yama jaria, no kuma one getting kitty a young fire anymore. I feel you would dental floor sanitizer. I had a paper form, say your tiles so. For paper, a kuma one getting kitty na, no madame Monsieur Sham. Dental concentrated liquid soap, and so ever what the mouth. Kayo, say you won't know. Bakuya green and a bakuya orange. Green one no, so with the coffee, it's immediately to Pupomu, a trip from Emania project. Factory way much ready. It's answer orange one no, a you grease, any oil, any free factory one. And then remind bay. Lemon bath hand wash, for Ronsa, a yimwawa, Namamusa will see a sham. Dental product, a feeling kikawa beijera.
Would like to call on our president, Mr. Carl Richards, to share his opening remarks and address to all members.
Thank you very much, Chikam. I'd like to welcome again all our executives and all our cohort ambassadors who have been working tirelessly through the years for the success of our network membership. The network has continued to grow. I think we're now over 100 members in Ghana alone. In the ECOWAS region, we are about 420, and across Africa, 750. The network has really grown. And to start with, we've had a warm and good transition from the previous executives to the new executives. And I think that from what we've seen so far, we do have a lot of potential and an exciting time in front of us. This year, we're looking at delivering a greater value proposition for our members. We're looking that having grown, we're going to do things together more. So we've asked our core ambassadors to be reaching out to the general membership to ensure that we have good collaboration from all the parties. We are creating avenues for members to connect and for our businesses to transform. I thought that's why we are formed. We serve each other. We have very good commitment from all our partners in this regard, and some of these objectives have been translated into our calendar, which we've generated. Our budget for the year has been established at quite an ambitious 1 million cedis plus, and out of that we have the Secretariat having a budget of about 200,000. This is usually what we have to put before the membership, and the members need to realize the importance then of our collection of dues to make sure that we have these goals realized. This was meant to be quite short because I think Mr. Bing was going to present the actual items that we have scheduled for the members. So I'm not going to stay too long, but I'll pass it over to her to continue. I have to go Barbara.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. So before that, we would like to take a quick break and have a message from one of our members. Thank you.
Nkulenu palm soup base, and what is made of?
It's made in 2 different flavors. They have the pure palm nut fruit, and we have the prekese and abedru.
That's very good. Then this will help my palm nut soup preparation in the house very easy. No more pounding on palm nuts again.
Of course, it's going to make it so easy.
Really? I heard all that you were talking about. Nkulenu palm soup base? I need to get my wife one to prepare me palm nut soup.
Available in all West African shops.
The amount. Sebani niyeme siya. Denso power bleach. Eyi fi ene nkikawa ne. Denso disinfectant. Eyema mochiri. Baby ankabone wo. Public toilet. Ene gatem. Denso antiseptic. Eyema ejariye. Ne kumwa wan ketenkiti ayemfa yenimu. Afi ye wo denso floor sanitizer. Yede paper form. Say ye tiles so. For paper. Ekumwa wan ketenkiti nyina. Ne mademu su ye sham. Denso concentrated liquid soap. And so ever what the mount. Kayo, say you will no. Baku ye green, and a baku ye orange. Green one no, so with the coffee, it's immediately to Bukumu, a chief from Emma project. Factory where much ready, a sunset orange one no, a ye grease, any oil, any free factory one. And then Remaya Bay, lemon bath hand wash, for Ronsa, a ye mowa, Namamusa who see a sham. Denso product, a feeling Kakawa Bay Jira. Kratoi FD
Warm welcome to everyone. If you've just joined in, this is Time with the Regulators. We have a lot of programs outlined for the network this year. This is to keep engagement at a high level, interactions, business visits going on, so that we know at each point in time what each member is going through and how best we can reach out to support. First on our outline, we have STN member company visits. We plan to do this once every month, February through November, and we will visit not less than 3 companies every month. So do expect executives at your companies. We'll call ahead of time, plan with you an appropriate time to visit, and come and visit. We also have leadership labs outlined once every quarter. Groups will meet at specified locations to go through the labs, similar to what we went through when we were at SEED. The Global Summit, India. Most of you have bought your tickets already. I'd like to encourage those who are still planning or deciding to go to quickly do so, and it will be a great time. Women's Day celebration is the 7th on our list, and it's coming off on 8th March 2023. We'll be sharing videos, and we'll be visiting you to pick these videos as well. So please open up yourselves to engage more with executives to make this network a great one. We also have a sip and paint and India debriefing, which will be taken off on the 24th of March, 2023. We will communicate the venue to you shortly. As for this year, we're engaging the regulators because as responsible network members, we want to be compliant. So we'll be engaging the regulators in conversations to get to know what new reforms are in place so that we will not be on the wrong side of the law. So we'll be communicating with the Data Protection Agency on 30th of March. Please save the date at the Seed office and online. We have our mentorship program, which is one of my personal favorites, where we bring on board young people who are interested in business and we mentor them. The date would be communicated soon and it will be held at the Seed office and online. The Sanford Seed African Regional Conference, which is a full-day conference. Factory tours, dinner, and social networking activities will be also ongoing. Please save the date for 25th to 27th of May 2023. That is our Stanford Seed African Regional Conference. This will take place at Labadi Beach Hotel, the Movenpick Hotel, and the Marriott Hotel. We will confirm the location as we get to the time. Father's Day celebration. We'll be celebrating all our fathers in the group on Sunday, 18th June, and this will take place at the Seed office and online. Because we understand the importance of leveraging our contacts, our networks, we're visiting the embassies. We're paying a courtesy call to the embassies to interact with them, find out what businesses, what plans they have for our businesses, and how we can partner to grow our businesses out of Ghana. So we'll be visiting the embassies from June till September, and our first embassy visit will be the Canadian embassy. We'll then go to the Indian embassy and the United States of America embassy. We will also be having the SSTN Ghana Annual Business Conference on the 19th of October, possibly at Labadi Beach Movenpick Hotel or Marriott. Another conversation with regulators, our favorite friends, the GRA, a very important meeting to have as well, will take off on the 16th of November 2023 here at the Seed office, and it will be broadcasted online as well. Finally, we'll be having our induction service of new cohort members and the end of year dinner on Saturday, 16th of December 2023. If you missed last year's induction, you really missed. Make sure you're part of this year's induction. Okay. So with that, this is our proposed calendar for the year. The Secretariat will be sharing this information with each member so you can key in the dates and be part of the program. Would like to take a message from our members, a commercial break. Thank you.
Make for denso products at the amount. Sabani near Messia, denso power bleach, a yifi and inkikawa, denso disinfectant, a yama mochari, baby and carbone, public toilet, any gatem, denso antiseptic, a yama career, no come one getting kitty a yam fire anymore. I feel you would denso floor sanitizer. Ah, you the paper form, say your task so. For paper, a come one getting kitty na, no madam suye sham. denso concentrated liquid soap enso ewo ho de ma wo kayo se ye wo mu mienu baako ye green ena baako ye orange green one no se wo de coffee a etimi de twitwi nkukuo mu etwitwi fom ema ne ye proje factory fue matwedi esan se orange one no eye grease ene oil e de free wo factory hono enemre mu ayare abai lemon bath hand wash for wonsa eyi muawa na ma wonsa wonso ye sham denso product efini nkekawa bayira.
Let's go shopping.
Inkulenu palm soap base, and what is made of?
It's made in 2 different flavors. They have the pure palm nut fruit, and we have the prekese and abedru.
That's very good. Then this will help my palm nut soup preparation in the house very easy. No more pounding on palm nuts again.
Of course, it's going to make it so easy.
Really? I heard all that you were talking about. Inkulenu palm soup base? I need to get my wife one to prepare me palm nut soup.
Available in all West African shops.
Welcome back to Time with the Regulators. Our speaker today is Madame Jemima Mama Owari. Her work as the Registrar General and Register of Companies has led to the introduction of reforms, such as the implementation of the online portal, and most recently, the introduction of e-certificates, digitization of the company's records, and automation of the regional offices, which has brought significant changes in the way of doing business in Ghana. She has, through all these reforms, reduced the turnaround time in the registration of businesses, as well as seen to the facelift of the department to create a congenial atmosphere for its numerous clients. She is a commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission and a member of the Ghana Bar Association, as well as the Federation of International Women's Lawyers Association, FIDA. She is married with 5 children. Wow. Mrs. Mama, we will have to call you to one of our leadership labs to take us through how you balance everything. We are honored to have you here with us today, and I know our interaction will be very, very informative. You're warmly welcome, and I hand over.
Thank you so much. Well, it's a real privilege for me to address my august participants in this very important talk I'm going to give on the new Companies Act and what has come out of it. Because of that, I'm sitting here today as the first registrar of companies. I used to be the registrar general before this hive came about. And so based on that, there have been quite a number of changes in the way of doing business in Ghana as a result of the passage of this new act. So looking at my outline, I'm going to be talking about this new office, which is the Office of the Registrar of Companies, our objects and mandate, the highlights of the new act, which you all need to know once you do business in Ghana. Other requirements you need to note. And also there's going to be a brief introduction to the Corporate Insolvency and Restructuring Act, in short, CIRA. It replaces the old legislation, Bodies Corporate Official Liquidations Act, where we used to liquidate companies which are not doing well. But now we have a rescue culture in place through this legislation. And then my conclusion. Basically, the new office is a hive off from the Registrar General's department, and we have been set up to focus solely on entity registrations and administration. We're also supposed to be advancing sound corporate governance principles, transparency, as well as providing the ease of doing business. And so out of this new Companies Act that was passed, there is the office. We're a body corporate with perpetual succession. I'm heading it with the assistance of 2 deputy registrars. It doesn't mean that the Registrar General's department is dead. It still exists. And that department will oversee industrial property rights, patents, trademarks, industrial designs, all that, geographical indications, all that is industrial property rights. Administration of estates, where we look at the gratuity of civil servants. And then marriages, we oversee marriages. I mean, I was the principal registrar of marriages as well. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing any of that. And so now the president has actually appointed a new registrar general. She's the person of Mrs. Gracie Sahak. So she will oversee the activities of the Registrar General's department, while I oversee the activities of the Office of the Registrar of Companies. So we have the right to hold property, enter into contract. Not only that, in case of anything, immovable acquiring property, we can do that. It's under the State Lands Act. The cost is going to be borne by the office. We have a seal, and we have financial autonomy, which is so crucial to us. In the past, the Registrar General's Department used to have 16% of the IGF, and that was woefully inadequate to ensure that we do a lot of work in company registration, public sensitization and all that. But now we're retaining 100% of all that we generate. So you will see that a lot will be done, at least now that we have that kind of revenue stream. We are overseen by an 11-member board, and our chairperson is the person of Mr. Seth Asante, one of the managing partners of Bella, Benti Angel, Lecha, and Ankoma. We have representatives from the Office of the Attorney General, the Principal State Attorney, a director from the Ministry of Trade and Industries, a lawyer from Securities and Exchange Commission, somebody from PEF, Private Enterprise Federation. We have at least 2 or 3 lawyers with 10 years experience in corporate law practice, and they're normally nominated by the president, and somebody from the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, and 1 representative from GARIA. GARIA is a new body that is coming up. In fact, they promoted the Corporate Insolvency Restructuring Act. So they really helped us to come up with that legislation. So they were also, its president was part of the committee of experts that helped us to come up with a new Companies Act. So we have a representative from there, and then myself. So that makes us 11. And this whole board is supposed to ensure proper and effective performance of the functions of the new office. Our main object is to register and regulate all types of businesses. By that I'm talking, apart from companies, I'm talking of business names, partnerships, professional bodies. We also appoint inspectors, receivers, managers to ensure compliance with the Act. We discharge the functions of the official liquidator. We were the official liquidator under the Bodies Corporate Corporate Liquidations Act. Now, with this new act, we now have insolvency practitioners. It didn't used to be there before. These are people who will be companies that are going through challenges, either through restructuring or administration. So at that level, it still hasn't reached the level of being, liquidated. So we are the regulators of all these insolvency practitioners. Currently, we have about 120 of them. And you're a chartered accountant, you're a banker, you're a lawyer, you're interested in going into insolvency cases, this is an opportunity for you. And it's Garia that will oversee all that, but we are the regulators of that. We're going to manage the finances and fixed assets of the office. And then this is one of them. We're going to be undertaking a lot of public education programs to educate the general public, such as your organization, about what you need to do to comply with the Act. So there's going to be a new division in the office known as the Services Division. And it's being set up purposefully for us to regulate these business. We're going to oversee the administration, restructuring, and insolvency of companies. We have to be careful because if you don't get the right people to carry out this function, it will make the state of the companies even worse. So you have to get competent people who are knowledgeable with insolvency matters. So oversee all that. We'll have to receive reports from them. And on top of all that, despite all that, we can still be the official liquidator, especially with the government institutions that possibly are going under. The law recommends that you come back to the official liquidator. So, and that this division is going to be carrying out research and making sure that we are knowledgeable in that area. We will also be a liaison between international organizations such as INSOL. They are the international body handling insolvencies. We will be that liaison for them. So now, some of the key highlights that you should be aware of. The first one is that we do not use regulations anymore. I'm sure many of you have companies that had regulations as the document that governs your operations. We've stopped using regulations. This constitution, the Companies Act says you now need a constitution. Now, this constitution, we have put it in the schedules of the Companies Act. If you go to the Companies Act, the schedules have the list of all the constitutions. We have prepared prototypes for you, 6 types. And every business in Ghana, if you have regulations, please pass a special resolution and adopt one of these constitutions to conform to the provisions of Act 992. Now, this constitution is supposed to be signed by one or more subscribers or the company secretary, and you may either deliver it to the registrar before incorporation or filed after incorporation. This particular provision is for initial incorporation, but scenarios of where you are already incorporated, that one, you have to get all the shareholders to sign the back because it's your first constitution under Act 992. So if you go to the website, you can go to our website, www.rgd.gov.gh or www.orc.gov.gh. What we are trying to do is to ensure that we finish the website for ORC before we close down the RGD with all our documentation. So right from the onset, it's changed. You can register a company now without a constitution, or you can register a company now without, like in the past, you necessarily have to complete regulations, and attach it to the forms to come. Now the Companies Act says you can choose to register your business without a constitution. What it is you'll indicate on our Form 3 that you want to adopt one of these constitutions that we've put in the schedules. Or you can come with your own constitution with objects, and that's what we call the registered constitution. So the form that we'll give you to fill, which is a Form 3, has every information you need to register a company. So once you have that form, you select on the form that you didn't attach a constitution, you want one of our constitutions. After registration, our system will generate a constitution for you. So you get it by all means. So it is not that you go away without a constitution. Another key highlight is the suffixes. Many of you have companies ending with limited, L-I-M-I-T-E-D. Some are even publicly listed companies that still have L-I-M-I-T-E-D. The code or the Act wants to distinguish companies by their suffixes. So even if you have L-I-M-I-T-D, please pass a resolution and change it to LTD if it's a private limited liability company. Even though you have limited, LIMITD, pass a resolution to change it to either LTD or limited company. So the ending is now going to be company, not limited. If ending is still limited, you can just do it LTD. Once we see LTD, we know you are a private limited liability company. You can get that from the second schedule. If you are a private and limited liability company, that is companies whose liability is unlimited. In the first place, when you talk of a limited liability company, what we are saying is that the shareholders' liability is limited to whatever investment they put into the company or whatever they propose to contribute to the company. So if that company for any reason is going under, your liability is limited to what you said you would put in. At best, we'll call on you to pay up for the shares we gave to you, which you didn't pay for. But we can't come and take the shirt off your back or your house, or because that is your personal asset. The company has to take care of itself. So the company's assets that we liquidate to take care of debts. Okay. But there are companies like law firms, accounting firms, companies that people rely on your expertise and your advice to take decisions. You cannot hide behind the veil and say that your liability is limited. So in that case, you are an unlimited liability company, like lawyers. So law firms are all unlimited. So that one, if they cause you to have issues, you can attach the assets of the lawyer themselves. So the liability is unlimited. At the same time, it's private. Private also has a meaning, being that your members should be less than 50, 1 to 50. If you go beyond 50, you are a public company. So a private company is between 1 to 50 members. Beyond 50, you're a public company. Or if you want to be a public company, you can have a constitution that says you're a public company, but have only one member. The whole idea is with a public company, you don't need to consult your other private members when it gets to exchange of shares or transferring of shares. You can transfer it to anybody you want if it's a public company. But with a private company, you are limited with the transferability of shares. You can't invite people into your company to give you loans and all that. No, the public company does that on the stock exchange. So you can't be a private unlimited liability company. You are private, yes, there are few shareholders. You can't really transfer the shares, but your liability is unlimited. That one, the suffix is PRUC, P-R-U-C, or private unlimited company. So your name will maybe Kojo Menu Private Unlimited Company or Kojo Menu PRUC. The minute we see that, we know that you're a private unlimited liability and possibly a professional body, a company, yeah. Then we have private limited by guarantee company. The ending is LBG. The churches were not too excited with us. LBG, or limited by guarantee. So that's what the name should be. Your name should be by guarantee LBG. So the churches are all changing. So whatever church is registered as a company limited by guarantee, they are coming to change it to end LBG, or limited by guarantee. So that is also there. Then the public limited liability company, as I was talking about, where you are trading on the stock exchange. You can't continue trading on the stock exchange if you have limited ending your name. And there are quite a number of them because we didn't have those distinctions then. And this is best practice. If you go outside this jurisdiction, you see most companies have PLC. Straight away, you know that this is a public limited liability company. Okay, so all public limited liability companies, PLC or public limited company, which you end your name with. I realize that I've been giving you different forms. The first one, private limited, was form 3. Private unlimited was form 3A. You get all on our website. Private limited by guarantee is form 3B. Public limited liability is form 3C. public unlimited liability company. It's either PUC or public unlimited company. It's Form 3D. There are few of such companies, but we've made provision for that. Then there's public limited by guarantee, PLBG, where the subscribers, maybe a society, maybe a homeowners association, they are more than 50. So they cannot be private, so they are public, but their liability is by guarantee. So that's what we're talking about. We have also relaxed the ultra virus rule in the sense that by this new act, companies do not need to file an object clause with us. In the past, you can see people write so many objects and end with some omnibus clause, you know. The whole idea was the committee of experts said a company once registered is like a natural person. You should be able to do anything you want to do under the sun as long as it is valid. But we pointed out to the committee of experts that there are some companies that you cannot just say you can do everything under the sun, such as companies that have, you know, other bodies regulating them, like banks, security companies, or those who do what mining or what casinos and all that. You have to disclose what your objects are. But if it's any other objects, maybe you're just selling in the market, nothing really serious, nobody's regulating you. You can't register without objects, but with our office, you would need to at least give us an idea of the sectors you're operating in. That's the IC codes. Because people do come requesting for information from us as to businesses in a particular sector. So at least give us that information so that we can go ahead and give that information. So this is it. But we are going to let you know that despite the fact that we relaxed it, as long as you have a constitution, you would have to give us objects. So if you are coming to us with a registered constitution, you would have to give us objects. It's only when you are accepting our constitution that you can choose to leave that space blank and do anything, but you have to disclose which sector. As I've said, you have a full capacity to carry on any business unless you are restricted by your constitution. I've said it here: banks, security companies, schools, all those people that are regulated, you have to give us objects. Especially those who have joint partnerships with the foreigners, you need to have objects because you have to comply with the GIPC rules on the minimum equity requirements. So despite all that, we still are very insistent that you cannot register any name that is, in our opinion, is undesirable or misleading. You can't register a name like fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, it's immoral, it's crude, it's rude, you know, anything like we have our discretion. You can't register a name like that. You can't register somebody's name. What's your name? Shika, huh? You're not called Shika. Then come and say Shika Enterprise. If I don't see Shika in your name, I won't give it to you because one day you will come and then because somebody's taking your name is blocked. You can't register a place like somebody registered Chicken Republic. You can't use Republic for a business name. You can't use International. You can't use Consortium. You can't use K&K. A business for a business name. No. You can't use anything that gives an impression that it's more than one person. A business name is for one person. You can register a company with Consortium, International, National. You can't use all those things for a business name. No. So all those names, if it's not approved, is wrong. You can't use Republic, Intercontinental. I know, I saw it. It's so wrong. You can't. So when you got to re-registration, I told them I will not give them the name. It's wrong. Republic is for a company or a partnership or something, but not for an individual. So you can't do Peku and Ekua. It's deceptive. You can use that name for a partnership or a company, but not a business name. Some want to use people's names for business names. Would allow it only if, say, the person is dead and you want to maybe honor the person. So we'll ask you to add memorial to it. That means you are named maybe after your dead mother or father or something like that. But you can't pick somebody's name. So, in fact, somebody used Pamela Bridgewater. She used to be the, yes. Yes, they used her name to register a company, and on a daily basis, they are going around offices collecting, donations and things. So that's what I mean. So we should not use people's names when they haven't given you consent. You realize that when it's getting to elections, they'll bring a lot of names. Baumia Fan Club, Mahama Girls for Boys. No, that sort of thing. If we don't get a letter from these political bodies that we give consent for our names to be used, you should not allow it. Somebody dies, they can come and quickly register their name. When the family is not even aware, when Komla Dumo died, plenty people tried to register a foundation with his name. Yes, so they'll use it to collect donations and all that. So it's a very tricky thing. You really have to be careful. So we had to stop it, that go and collect a consent from professor. And that's what stopped, So we have to be really careful. So you can't use your name. If somebody uses your name, you yourself will come one day and the name is taken. So that's what we mean. So we are very particular with their names. And when we register a company to and it's been dissolved, excuse me, my throat gets very dry. Okay. When it's been dissolved, you can't use that same name within the preceding 5 years. Why? Because you could bring confusion to the public and allow that name to rest for 5 years before you can pick it up. Where through inadvertence, we register a name which is misleading or undesirable, we have the power within 6 months to direct you to change the name. You must comply within 6 weeks of this direction. If you don't, we have the power to strike the name off. Because people are doing all sorts of things. So we have that power too. Don't you continue if my throat gets dry. And then we also have accounting terms that have been modified to conform to the IFRS standards adopted by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. For instance, we say financial statements instead of accounts. We say income statement instead of profit and loss account. We say equity shares instead of ordinary shares. We changed some of the terms. There's a major one. All auditors are supposed, if you have auditors that have been there for more than 6 years, please, at your next AGM, change them. That's the law. And when you change them, they can't come back to you as your auditors for another 6 years. They have a cooling off period of 6 years before you can appoint them again. That's the law. So if you know you have some beyond 6 years, please take steps to change them. They've taken us to court, but nothing has come out of it. So we've come out with a notice. This is the notice. Anybody who keeps an auditor after these kind of notices will have penalties being issued against the company and every office side. Don't get yourself involved in that. So please take steps to change them. We've improved the corporate governance and professionalism provisions in this new act. In the past, you get companies just appointing anybody as a secretary. I'm sure you've done it before. You just sit in front of the registrar and just think of Ifwa Mansa, who is frying kelele maybe by the roadside, to be your car, or your wife, or your driver, or your gardener. I mean, they just used to put anybody there as a secretary. It's changed. Now, this company secretary has to be a professional. So we are asking for somebody qualified to carry on the duties of a company secretary. You must have a professional or tertiary level qualification. It must even be in company law practice or administration to help you to have the requisite knowledge to be a company secretary. Or you could be a company secretary trainee. You could have held office under a qualified company secretary for at least 3 years, so you have some knowledge. Or you could be a chartered secretary. There are chartered secretaries in Ghana and administrators. You could be a barrister or a solicitor. You could be a banker, any professional thing, to be a secretary by an academic, or you could be a secretary by an academic qualification. You know what everybody is using? That's what they are using. Everybody is selecting secretary by academic qualification. And when you ask which academic qualification, it has nothing to do with company law, but that's what is happening. So these are some of the duties of a company secretary. And it's not limited to what I've put here. There's more. You assist the board immensely because you must know the companies that make sure that you keep proper statutory registers. I'll ask you guys here, Do you have registers of members and all that? These are the strategy books I'm talking about. You need it. Every company needs a register of members, register of directors and secretary, minutes. You keep minutes. You have to have books to keep your minutes. You know, these are all books that every company needs, but it looks like you look at our register as your register. That is not the case. You must have your own register. So please, this secretary is supposed to make sure all these statutory books are kept. There's the interest register, debentures, so many books that the company secretary has to follow. And this company secretary will ensure that filing of annual returns is done on time. And you have issues with penalties and your name being taken off the register. When it gets to directors, it's even more stringent. And it happened after the banking failure, all those banks that went under. Now, if you're a director, you have to swear to a statutory declaration that you have not, within the preceding 5 years, caused any company to go into insolvency or been charged. Did you hear that? Charged to, not convicted, but charged or convicted of a criminal offense involving fraud or dishonesty. Charged or convicted of a criminal offense relating to promotion, incorporation, management of a company that goes under through insolvency. And in the past, directors didn't need to consent to be a director. Now, please, every director, right from incorporation, you need to swear to a statutory declaration as well as a consent letter. You have to consent to be a director. So many of these companies that have gone under, what that means is that their directors, they cannot be directors of companies until after 5 years. Yes, because they've caused a company to go into insolvency. They cannot jump straight away into another company and be a director. Yeah. Yes, there's a statutory declaration form. In the past, it used to be only the secretaries that would send us consent letters. That's to the registrar. But now the directors plus a statutory declaration form. And we've prepared all those forms on the website anyway, so you can just fill it in. And you have to do this within 28 days. I'll come back to this same register of members. It's so important for me. Many people don't have it. You can get it from Ghana Publishing. So what it means is every company must have this register. Right from the onset, you register, you put down the names of all your shareholders. You list all their shares. You list those that have paid, those that have not paid. I mean, you put information. So you see it here, you contain addresses, shares held, paid for, remaining, the nature of interest held, the date you cease to be a member. Now, the new one is the beneficial ownership information. This register must contain all that. Many companies do not have it. You must arrange for a registration officer to undertake these duties externally if your company secretary cannot do that. You must have a register of debentures where you go seeking loans from banks and institutions. You must have a register that keeps record of all these debentures on your assets. You need to keep record of that. And you should keep this register of members at the registered office where people should be able to go and look through it and find out what is in there. You register, that is, if you have companies outside this jurisdiction, you must have branch registers. And in it too, you must have all your debenture holders, BOs, where they are living outside there. Make sure that all that information is properly kept. You have charges, keep the charges. And with charges, if you go and take a loan or something, there's a charge on the assets of the company. Make sure that it's registered first. Land Valuation Board is stamped there, and then the Collateral Registry, Bank of Ghana, and most importantly, our office. Your information in our register. You have to come and file that charge. You don't stop at Bank of Ghana and a Land Valuation Board. What happens is you could be the one who possibly have lent money to a company. You have to follow up, because what will happen is if that company should go under, as the official liquidator, we'll see your interest as an unsecured creditor and you will not get your money. To be a secured creditor where we liquidate the assets of that company, there must be that charge filed in our register. You normally stop at collateral registry and our land valuation board. If you don't come to our office, you are not a secured creditor. So this is my advice to you. And you must keep all these copies at the registered office. So we also have this interest register where directors have interest in proposed contracts of the company. You have to disclose to the other directors and they have to keep record of it. So that when there's maybe a meeting or evaluation of a particular contract and you have interest in it, you have to excuse yourself. In the past, you'd hide, you don't tell your people. Meanwhile, you are the main guy behind it and they'll give the contract to you. So now you have to disclose. And you have to open. It will work for. It will work for. So any holdings you have in any associated companies, you have to let your other directors know. So the whole idea is transparency. And we have a register of, as I said, directors and company secretaries. I'm sure you don't have it. So go and get all those books. So now the good news is we are in the process of developing a new software. The current software we're using has been with us for the last 11 years. The servers have gone bonkers, practically. But we are managing by the grace of God. But we are developing a new software in compliance with the Companies Act, which is going to be fully digital. You do not need to come into our offices with paper again, like all these Form 2, Form 3, you write on it, you come, at that time the clerk is keying in before we scan it in. All that is going to be a thing of the past. You sit here, you go into our system, you log on, you key in online. Yeah, I mean, everything is online, electronically. If we have put in, how do I say, a certain business intelligence, which makes your company name unique, within 30 to 40 minutes, I mean, once you complete the process and you provide us all the information we want and you pay online, you don't need to walk into our offices to come and pay. Wherever you are, you get your certificates and your output and you move on. We're hoping to even link up the bank to this system where a bank that is interested, for instance, you select that you want to maybe open an account with, say, Zenith. So Zenith will get the information straight away of you. By the time you go there, Zenith has your information. So you open your account because now they have to come to us, write long letters, searches, KPI, this, that. But we want to make it's that ease of doing business. That's the whole idea. So this new electronic system we are doing it now, yes, but a better one. So electronically, we're able to incorporate and register companies, reserve names, file particulars, convert, file returns, keep maintenance of, I mean, all this we can do electronically now, except that we want to do it more easy for you. And it will be more expensive for you to walk into our offices with paper. To be cheaper to sit in your homes and file online than to walk into the office, go and pay a guru boy some money you pay more. That's a disincentive. We have to bring it out there so you stay in your homes and do things yourself. We will come up with maybe an artificial intelligence that will be talking to you to help you. Because what we currently have is not user friendly. That's why we're coming with a new one. So that you will not make mistakes. It will help you to register online. That's the whole idea. Okay. There's a new section. All companies, have you guys declared dividend for your companies, or you haven't made enough profit to declare dividends? Have you? Well, anybody who's made profit and declared a dividend, and for any reason your shareholders are not coming for the dividend, that's what we claim as unclaimed dividends. You are not supposed to use those monies for the running of the company. The law says within a period of 3 months, if you realize that shareholders are not coming for the dividend you have declared, you must open an interest-bearing account and transfer the dividends into this interest-bearing account. And you keep it in there. If you wait for 12 months and still they haven't come for it, then you have to forward those dividends to our office. We have also opened an interest-bearing account. We have opened an interest-bearing account in both dollars and cedis. So you forward it to us. You forward it to us, and then we will then be the registrars or the registrar overseeing this. We'll put as much as possible information in the public so that those shareholders who need their dividend, because it's an interest bearing, you get it with interest. But if we wait a particular company 7 years, you still haven't come, then the law says that no, we transfer 50% of that amount to the Government of Ghana Consolidated Fund, and then 50% to the Registrar of Companies. We're going to be using it for investor education, research, entrepreneurial development, and advancement in company law. Because you are not supposed to chop it. That's the law. You've declared it. It's your profit. It's gone out. So it's supposed to go to your shareholders. It's not company law. Once declared, that's it. You can't utilize it. That's the law. It has to be for the shareholder or his relative. That's a different issue. That's a different issue. That's up to them. You can choose also not to declare a dividend. Yes. And what they put it in the income surplus account. Yeah, they can choose also. Hey. Oh, that one. I don't know of that one. So you declared it. So since then, declare some small amount as dividend. So that they can't hear you. Okay.
All right. On this issue of the dividend, I mean, we've had an issue with GRA where they said that we always have to declare dividends. We wanted to build up the capital of the business, so we're just adding whatever profits we had to the income surplus account. But they said we have to declare it so that we can be taxed on it. Yeah.
That's not fair. But you didn't do it, did you?
No, so since then we declare dividends, but maybe a small amount. Since then we do it.
Not good. But the law says that upon the commencement of the act, all unclaimed dividends are supposed to be transferred to us, except that we didn't have the accounts set up yet. Now the accounts have been set up. We have gotten the board approving the message to go out, the procedure, the mode of transferring these dividends. So from next week, you get these notices going out. So all businesses who have unclaimed dividends, first of all, we'll state if all this time you haven't opened an interest-bearing account, we'll ask you to do that. At least within 3 months, you're supposed to do it. Then after that, if we wait one whole, is it 1 year? Yes. 12 months, the people are still not coming for it, then you have to transfer it. And if it comes to us 7 years before we'll touch it, but I believe people will come for it. So we are not keen on taking people's money. The whole idea is they don't want you to touch it. Okay. So we'll make sure we put out these notices. Now we come to beneficial owners. Do you know anything about that? The beneficial owners. Yes.
Is that a guess?
Yes.
These are people who are behind the business, but they are not the people running the business.
It could also be people running the business. Being that
put money in the
yes, business. If you look at the definition, you see, they directly own or exercise substantial control. So it could either be the legal owners who are the beneficial owners, or as you're saying, somebody who is hiding behind and really being the one who actually owns and exercises substantial control. Now, this legislation has been passed. It's in our current act. So currently in our office, you cannot register a company unless you disclose who the beneficial owners are. You cannot even file your annual returns unless you disclose. That's why I asked you to all get the register of members, because in that was when we realized that many companies didn't even have a register of members, because the BOs were supposed to be state, and it's the company's responsibility to look for its beneficial owners. It's not our responsibility. So it's your duty to compile who your legal owners are. If they are the same BOs, fine. With a new software coming, maybe you just take. If you are the legal owner and the BO, just take that. I'm one and the same person. But where there's somebody else who is the real guy. Do you have any examples of that? For instance, you are sitting in a public office and going through a lot of contracts are coming through, and you don't want to see your name there, so you either put your wife or your cousin or your nephew. But this law is saying that even if you put your wife or your cousin or your nephew, you still have to disclose that I am really the one going to benefit from this company. It shouldn't always be evil. It should also be good. For instance, I am a BO because I had a public institution. That's one of the definitions. So even though I might have nothing to do with my son's company, maybe my son is going into real estate. I have absolutely nothing to do with real estate. I'm not a director, I'm not a shareholder. When he's registering at my office, he will have to disclose me as a BO. Because one day his company could come before my office to say bidding for a contract, maybe to build something. And it should be transparent enough for you to see that this woman heading the institution, she's a BO of this company. So that in case of anything, it's very clear that you do not influence him getting a contract or anything. That's the whole idea, transparency. Yeah? How will your enemies influence? Because your name is in there. It's possible, yes. But that's the whole idea. We want to see who is really behind the company. So that is, the first one is ultimately owns or exercise substantial control. The second one is substantial economic interest or receives substantial economic interest, like dividends and all that. I knew a first lady who got some separate people. She was the real ultimate beneficial owner. So those people were the ones who were represented as shareholders. Because she was the first lady that time, they were all nice. When she stepped down as first lady, they took the company. Yes. Because she was the first lady, her name didn't appear. And so people said, I don't know you. I don't know you. And the person was collecting all the dividends. I don't know you. So it has its good sides and its bad side. So if it has a right there. So if her name was there, then everybody knows that she is the beneficial owner. Okay. So those are some of the things. So these are some of the, or you exercise significant control in maybe a formal or informal arrangement. When it gets to guarantee companies, it's not economic interest. It's maybe, these foundations and the rest, maybe there's some serious donor sitting somewhere. Her name will not be there, but they help to run the foundation. And they are not necessarily directors. They are not benefiting, but they will decide who will be maybe the managing director or the chairman or whatever. That's the kind of thing we are looking. Your name is not even appearing. Very soon we'll be doing collaboration. That is when we'll come against you with this punishment. It's a summary conviction of a fine of not less than 150 penalty units and not more than less than 1 year, no more than 2 years, or to both. A penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. So if you calculate, it's about what, 3,000? We'll change this. We'll make it more on us to serve as a deterrent. That's a good one. So what do you think? It says inadvertently you leave out the BO. Inadvertently. Is that one should be excused? How much was it when you did it? How much was it? 3,000. Yeah, it's not much. Should be something like 6,000 or more. Ah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. So anyway, we are coming out with guidelines, regulations to help to fill up these things. And we electronically, this time you don't need to fill. We'll make sure that in the electronically in the system, you just this thing come in. For now, we've reduced the age from 21 to 18. If you're 18 years, you can register a company. You don't need to swear before a commission of oath anymore. In the past, you maybe you had to swear before a commission of oath. We don't give commencement certificates anymore. Just one certificate. Yeah, certificate of incorporation. That's all we give. Because in the past, you swear before a commission of oath that you have a certain minimum equity in the bank. We wouldn't go and check. So it was a waste of time. So now you can start that minimum equity of you having to pay 500 or it's no more there. So you can start, of course, unless you have these GIPC things that you have a minimum equity. But if it's a company, you want to start with 5, 6, 10, that's up to you. You just register once. Okay. And we've changed the charges from 28 days to 45 days. And we now have administrative penalties, not fines and all that, to ensure compliance. Okay, so we are updating our system. That's why I want to emphasize on. Since many of you, if you are registered before 2011 and you know you are in our historical database, have you done re-registration? Have you? Have you?
The re-registration process can be difficult in that.
Yeah. You can. You can. We'll help you. You can. So I'll help you. What is the issue? Because the person has passed. So pass a resolution that the person has passed and provide us with a document to show he's passed and file that form to show the person has passed. You can swear to a statutory declaration that the person has passed. I mean, anything to help you to get you into the new electronic database would help you. The issue is where you don't even have any documents at all. Sometimes you don't even have any documents at all, isn't it? Yes. So when you come to our office and we also don't have documents, some banks will have your documents because you open bank accounts. At worst, if you have an idea, we're able to even recreate, sort of put together documentation for you. And we have this non-assigned shareholder sort of, where we can't trace you are dead, so of course you can't have a tax identification number. We'll use that. So try. We are inviting all of you. If you know you are in the historical database, you don't have the unique tax identification number. All such companies, they are big companies. Don't file your financial statements. You are not in good standing because we will not do a re-registration unless you file your returns. Yes, it goes together. So if you haven't done that, what is you are telling us is because what you are telling me is you haven't filed any financial statements. And when we say file an annual return, what we are saying is update us on the current status of your directors, your shareholders, your secretary, auditors. So can you imagine that a director is dead, a shareholder is dead, and then you are signing contract with dead directors and dead shareholders? And no, I'm serious. And I mean, it's not up to date. Yeah, it's not up to date. The people are dead, and yet if you come into our database, archaic data is sitting in there. Meanwhile, things have changed. You've moved office. You are no more in this place. If you are no more here, there are forms for you to update us that you moved to a new place. but you won't do that. Your contact numbers have changed. You know, when we say file annual returns, that's what we really need. The financial statements is to see your position, like whether you are doing well or you're not doing well. But people come and tell me that I haven't done any business. No problem. File what we call a nil return. Let your auditors say that you haven't done business for the year, but file the annual return and let us know. Are the directors the same? Have the objects changed? Have the shareholder, have any died, or have more people been added that you haven't informed us? Things like that. That's what we talk about, filing annual returns. You have any questions on that one? So when we say re-registration, it's not that we're giving you a new life. Oh, you're already living, but you are not in good standing if you don't do re-registration. We update your records electronically at the touch of a button. I can tell you this person is in or that person is not in. So it's important that all companies that you know before 2011 you were registered and you haven't come to do this update, please, I'm inviting you to come and do that. Okay, it's very important for us. These are the forms I'm talking about: BO1, BO2, BO3, BO4. Will help you to fill all those forms, and this is the website I talked of. You can get the forms from there. And we are now doing a one-stop shop. As I said, we are linked with GRA through the software generator. We have been directed to use NIA card. So that is the next step. Everybody has to use the NIA card. But for now, we request a photocopy of the NIA card, at least to make sure that you have an NIA card. But for now, we're still using the 10 because we haven't adapted the software yet. Once you register, the system gives you the business operating permit. You pay a bit of money and you get that. So that you don't need to go to where's this blue? Metropolitan for the business permit. We'll give you a temporary one for 3 months. And after that, through the digital address, the assemblies will get to know where your business is located, and they will follow up to give you the more permanent business operating permit. So that's what we're doing now. We deploy the data to SNIT so that they also have information on the companies we registered. And then this is the corporate insolvency, which I talked to you about, how we are more interested in rescuing companies than killing them. And that is the whole idea. That's what the office is going to be doing. We'll help you to develop the administrators or the insolvency practitioners. They will put a temporary freeze on the right of creditors against a distressed company. So you're going under, you quickly get an insolvency practitioner to help you to put your, so that otherwise creditors will come at you. So this is what CIRA is doing. So basically we're now going through transformation to get these documents for the new office. We're getting help from the World Bank. We're getting our strategy documents, manuals, and all that. So we're hoping that by the middle of this year, I'll get the new staff. For now, it's only me and Domtie who are the staff of the new office. All the other people are still in Registrar General's department. So after those documents are done, then we'll do the proper placement of our staff. Yes. Another good thing is by May, we're going to get this VVIP unit. We're hoping to give you your documents within 24 to 48 hours. But you pay a bit more. We've put the VVIP fees out there. Please let me tell all my participants listening, do not pay any VVIP fees now. Guru Boys are collecting VVIP fees now, even though we are not running the VVIP service yet. Do not give anybody any VVIP money. When we start, we'll let you know. And we are developing the VVIP center, just like the DVLA. You come in there, we will give you something to drink. We have a passport office, you get a bank there, you pay there, don't go and join the same line. Within 24, there's a lawyer there, there's a company inspector there, there's a data entry, so that you get that service expedited. You pay a little bit more, but don't pay any monies to anybody now because we haven't started, please. And we're going to have a call center so that people can call us if they're having problems. The whole idea is ease of doing business. So this is what this whole office is about. We are more focused on good corporate governance practices, want to build strong businesses, and then after the decoupling is done, we are sure we'll provide you a better service. We are working hard to move out of where we are to our new office. It's located in Legon, behind the NIA and that whole area. Yeah. We should have been close to you. We wanted a place on this, but we couldn't get it. So we are just behind you. So we're working hard to get it started. Then we'll move from RGD to our new office. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Jemima Owari. There's a new wind blowing at the Registrar of Companies office. And I'm telling you, they're calling for transparency at all levels. They're going electronic to save us time. Let's say they're going paperless to save us time and money, because we all know how dreadful it is when you go there to file and all the paperwork and all the guru boys. It's all about ease of doing business. We need to be productive. We need to use our time wisely. And if they are making it easy for us to do business, then let us be compliant. But I believe they're also taking data from us to bridge the huge data gap that they find. So please, if we are responsible business owners and we are glued into the transformation agenda that SEED stands for, then let us be compliant. Otherwise, she said this without missing her words. She's ready to crack her almighty whip off the register. Thank you so much, Madam Jemima Owari. Yeah, very happy that you did come to meet with us and give us all the updates on what's happening in your department. And we will be coming to your office. Well, we will be going online to be compliant. Thank you. Yes, please. So we'll be going for a short commercial break, and then we will take your questions. Thank you.
Base, and what is made of?
It's made in 2 different flavors. They have the pure palm nut fruit, and we have the prekese and abeju.
That's very good. Then this will help my palm nut soup preparation in the house very easy. No more pounding on palm nuts again.
Of course, it's going to make it so easy.
Really? I heard all that you were talking about. Including palm soup base? I need to get my wife one to prepare me palm nut soup.
Available in all West African shops.
And you will feel make food denso products at the amount. Sabani near Messia, denso power bleach, a yifi and inkikawa, denso disinfectant, a yama mochari, baby and carboni public toilet, any gatum, denso antiseptic, a yama jaria, no cool one getting kitty a young fire anymore. I feel you would denso floor sanitizer. Ah, you're the paper form, say your tiles so. For paper, a cool one getting kitty na, no madame see sham. Denso concentrated liquid soap, and so ever what the mouth. Kayo, say you womb ye no. Bakuya green and a bakuya orange. Green one no, so with the coffee, it's immediately to pumu, a chief from Emania project.
Thank you very much, Madam Owari, for making the time to educate us on all these changes. We'll start with the network. SSTN is a non-profit organization. Okay, so good evening and thank you, Madam Jemima Owari, for your time with us today. It's been very educational and informative. And even as a network, we have questions about our organization because we are in the process of making sure that all our books are in good standing. So we wanted to find out, for a non-profit organization such as ours, a network of companies that have completed a program, a group of companies that have completed a program and have set up a network where we try to support our member companies to transform. Who then becomes the directors or beneficial owners, the BO declarations for the network? Can you advise on such a situation?
So remember, I asked, for instance, when you came together, you set up as subscribers, you voluntarily did that. Does it mean that there's anybody particularly amongst your group that would determine who should maybe be the yes and all that? You vote through voting.
Yes, for a period of
so
2
for
years.
for that time, it will be the president who will be the BO, and as and when you change, then you change that BO, because it's the one who takes the decisions regarding the operations of your company. Because for guarantee company, it's not beneficial, not benefiting cash or anything like that. But the one who has, I'd like my colleague to contribute to that. The one who has like controlling this thing to decide, decision making to decide who should be the head of the, that you vote. Yes. So then he is the BO for the time being. If it changes, you just come and change him.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. Dante, you want to add more? Come and add more. She's the BO expert. That's why I brought her.
Ms. already said it all, but I think those who have like influence in a company, you have people who they don't. They're the ones people are accustomed to listening to. They can have a meeting. All of you can decide to vote on something, but if that person doesn't, give their consent or say no, we're not going to do it this way, the way we are going, those who actually have control or influence decisions in the company, yeah. So it may change. Maybe the subscribers can be some of the directors. So.
We had this conversation. Yes, as the vice president was saying, we had this conversation recently when we're looking at the laws that the directors take liability, and when you had the membership of the organization, who actually constitutes the directors? Is it any of the executives in various positions of the organization? Because it wouldn't only be the president. You have the secretary, you have the finance, you have the people who are going around planning events and making or signing table. Yes. So that was the question. Is it the entire executive structure? Or
that could also be possible, isn't it?
It could be, or it could be just a few. So those who take the significant decisions, those who really matter, their voice matter in the organization. So it can be all of them or just a few of them. But by all means, among the directors or among the executives, they would know who. Some of them are just sitting in for others. They don't really have significant voice. They just represent. Yes.
Well, that's why I wanted to push it a little bit, because earlier I was saying if you inadvertently leave someone out and you have such a huge penalty associated with a bill not being declared, then how would that be handled? Because as you said, maybe at some point in the future, the powers that be may determine that this person should have been a BO, and they were not disclosed.
So, like we were saying, the company would know. The company should know. Is it on? So they should know. Like the registry wouldn't know. So you have to. That's why when you look at the definition, they're about different steps, right? So ask those questions: who has significant control? Who takes decisions? Who is benefiting? You know, when you use that formula, you would arrive at the BO. You know.
Okay, we have, and again, to drive it one step further, we are working with, say, a foreign company, or we have been working, we've come from a certain place, and they are getting sort of information, and they might be influential. Are they a BO? Okay, and if they're inadvertently left out, because it doesn't fall in your category, you know.
But I mean, if it is inadvertently left out, if later you find out, you can come back and close and then register. Yeah.
Well, that we may have to.
Because we have a lot of the NGOs. They have their gurus outside. You know, they may have all their executives here, but they are accustomed to listening to others from outside, you know. So you may have to consider that they may be the ultimate beneficial owners, and maybe you are just be sitting in for them.
Not just anybody at all. So you can drill down and drill down and drill down to get the alt.
Because there are people who they appoint the directors. Maybe we there and someone asked you to, when sitting as a, you know, appoint you as a director.
I talked of ultimate. That's what matters. The ultimate beneficial owner. So you might have to drill down and drill down till you get to that ultimate owner. So possibly the sponsors from outside are the ones who are the BOs, not you. Or in addition to you, they could be doing one bit, and in the Ghana office there's somebody who exercises some control or takes certain decisions that makes the person a BO.
We are thinking of come up with a guideline to assist companies to help them. Yes, because truly they need to know. The owners of the company or the directors need to know. But if they don't know, we'll give them a guideline to assist them. Maybe does this person has a veto power? That could be. Are they the ones who appoint directors, the executives? You know, are they the ones who can change the nature of the business or the nature of the objects of the company? Because nobody can change it unless the person who has, you know, significant interest or control. You know, so yeah.
Yes, I have a question. I'm just wondering if your database is linked to the national identification and GRA, because that would be a useful database to use. I don't know whether you are linked to that. And the second question has to do with a particular case in question where a company hasn't kept the account that well over a period of, say, 7 years, and they engage the services of an auditor to put the 7 years together. So that auditor has worked on 7 years account. Do we have to change? Question. Do we have to change the auditor?
That's an interesting question.
Or we take it that he's worked for 1 year?
I think we'll take it that he's worked for 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
Because he's doing it at one go. It's not as though for each year he went through the records to come up with audited accounts. So that kind of person, you employed and made him go over all your records, come out with accounts. I don't think that's 6 years work, yeah. But for your first question, yes, we are linked to the Ghana Revenue Authority. They generate the unique tax identification number. So in fact, that is the data that comes into our database to come up with the names in the regulations or any document. So you start off, first of all, by going to Ghana Revenue Authority to generate a unique tax identification number. Our systems speak to each other. So when you do the re-registration, then you will get that unique tin. We call it a company tin. Then you come into our database. Then GRA will also get to know about you. Do you understand it?
Yes, I
So
do
they used to file with GRA, but we didn't have any information about that.
And are you stretching beyond Accra? Because I know that there are companies in Kumasi who don't even know what the tax rate is and your existence. Because once they registered, or they registered because it was necessary for them to open a bank account, and they are still doing business. They don't need any contract from any government, and so they are still doing business. I'm not sure whether you are going to cover those people too, and what are you going to do? What kind of sanctions are you going to put in place to make sure that those people are also brought in? Because without the need for registering, they can still be doing their business.
Okay. So with this new office, first of all, we have regional offices in Kumasi, Sekendi, Takrade, Tamale, and Sunyani. And they're all registering businesses simultaneously. So they have their data of businesses registered in Kumasi and its environs. At the same time, they also have access to our data in Accra. We also have access. We have a common pool where we can do searches. Yes. Remember I told you we're going to be going out to do inspections. So apart from the officers coming to us to come and do the re-registration, we in turn are going to go out to them. We intend to have a sort of collaboration with the banks. My son keeps on saying it, such that they will not allow them to operate their accounts until they have complied and updated their records. So yes, and so we are going to go into all that collaboration, so that when you take those old certificates, in fact the banks have started doing it already. You're going to put money in account or try and take out money from your account, and then they ask you, where's your renewal from ORC or RGD? And they quickly have to rush to come and update. Or contracts, they are now coming to come and update. There was this branding company where they hadn't done re-registration and they were doing big business out there. So there are quite a number of people out there that haven't done their re-registration. So that's the only way. We'll go out and do the inspection, and then we'll do collaboration with other institutions. But we are not yet linked with NIA. I said we intend to do that. But definitely the new software coming, that will be the unique identifier. Everybody will have to get a unique NIA number. Yeah. Thank you.
Another some of our companies are very old companies from 1957, 56, that type. And of course, they've seen a lot. The subject we touched on earlier about not having a documentation to do the re-registration. We did speak, but they could continue doing this. They also report to the GRA. The GRA is concerned with the income, so they submit the audited accounts. It's just that they don't come to the Registrar General because it hasn't been as in the limelight, if you will. So the problem that I was talking about exists where you do have the problem of updating the register with directors. They may have gone through 3 generations of directors and suddenly cannot find all the information that you're looking for. Would it be possible if maybe we can provide some assistance. Our office maybe can help some of those members working with your office to be able to regularize their papers.
Definitely. Looking at the re-registration forms, we request for the most current information. So we'll start off with the most current information of the directors that you might know of, who possibly have never even been properly appointed. So you sort of have to work backwards. So if you don't have documents, appoint them as directors. We'll have to get all those sorts of documents, especially to try and track how they became directors. There must have been somebody that appointed them. So you have to sort of do those kind of letters. And if it's shareholders that are dead, there must be a way of linking you to become a shareholder director, because as a company, at least you must have some records, or they don't have records at all. At all, absolutely not. Even from 1940 something, we try our best. Sometimes, in fact, we've even got accepted statutory declarations, at least to get you kickstart you that yes, we were once registered as this. These were the first directors. Along the way, many have died. As we speak now, is moved on. We'll accept it just to get you into the system electronic, and then from that point, you now do the right thing of filing returns and all that. Yeah, we will help. So if you have such cases, you just come and meet up with me, and we'll do what we can. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I want to find out if you've not been filing, you have a company that doesn't file over the years, and after the talk you've given now decides to do the proper thing, is it very necessary for the company to go back? Yeah, so I was asking if you have a company that doesn't file, and after listening to your presentation now decides that they want to do the proper thing, they want to file now, is it very necessary to go back and then file for all the past years, or the company can decide and then with the present year and then do the filing?
We do a moratorium of the last 10 years. So you do a moratorium of the last 10 years. And because you've not filed any financial statements, you possibly file nil returns for those last 10 years. But coming to the most current year, you must have some documents showing you have been doing business. If you are still not doing business, you will still accept the nil return. But what we are more interested in is the annual return, to let us know who the current directors are, the current shareholders. We are more interested in that. At that point in time, you will get all those new officers to get a unique tax identifier. So you need electronic system. And if for any reason you can't trace any directors, maybe the shareholders are dead and therefore don't have a TIN, I said we use the non-tax number to get at least the new tax number and all that. We are very eager to do that. It helps to give us the most current information.
Any further questions? No. All right. Okay, so would like to say a big thank you to Madame Jimam Owari and Madame Damtien for joining us today to educate us on the new reforms that are happening at the Registrar of Companies office. Now I'd like to hand over the mic to Mr. President for his closing remarks.
Well, thank you all once again. We have come to the end of the general meeting. I think that we've got a lot of information. We do remember that as a network, we are here to support each other, to ensure that we are successful in what we are doing for the benefit of our societies and all. This year we plan on doing a lot. I think starting with the re-registration of our companies, make sure that we are correctly lined up. We've had a long list of programs. Ms. Obing, let us know the events we have planned for the year, and it's a lot. We do expand. We do intend to expand our reach internationally. We want to work with the Africa Continental Free Trade so that we can reach out to our other members. We want to increase the value proposition of the members of the network so that we know why we're here. We do have these lofty ambitions. Once the events have been translated into our calendar, we will be looking forward to all the members contributing their dues so that we can achieve these programs. One of the programs that we're now going to add is the assistance of any member who needs to be registered properly. We will have our office work with you. Just let us know, of course, underlined by the fact that you've paid your dues. And once you've paid your dues, we're going to see about all these things. In the course of the year, we are going to continue our collaboration with the Ghana Stock Exchange. We're going to continue with the mentorship and internship programs that have been going on. And the scholarship fund is also going to proceed. So these are other things that we are doing that you have been contributing to. And I think that we should continue to do so. So, Tika, thank you very much. We thank the members. We thank our guests for everything that they've done. No. Oh, and our secretary, our secretary will take over to give us the presentation.
On behalf of Stanford Seed Transformation Network, we are presenting this to you. Products from Nkulenu Industries Limited, Densu Industries Limited, Emigo. His yogurt is yummy. If you take that, you don't want to take yogurt from anywhere else. Yeah, and all of these Ghana industries. Yeah, and we are very appreciative of you coming over. Unfortunately, Domtia is my friend already at church. So we'll be using her for our companies. There's something that we even need to sort out on Stanford Seed itself. So yeah, we'll contact her. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Opportunity given to us. This is really a pleasant surprise. We didn't expect this at all. We're so grateful. But as I said, our doors are open, and the whole idea is the collaboration to ensure that businesses that have not complied with the act can now, myself, Domti, or anybody else that you would know could also contact us, make sure that the right thing is done. When you're in good standing, it helps you. I mean, you make sure that you have the right personnel in place to make your company healthy. But if you're not having the right personnel, you have a secretary that doesn't know anything about the company, then you always be in default. So please, if you have company secretaries that don't have the professional qualifications and all that, make sure that you appoint such people to guide you, to help you. Make sure you all go for the necessary books. The statutory books is very important, because when you do changes in shareholding and directors, our office is not the first place you should run to. But that's what happens. Somebody will change a director or a shareholder and they'll run with the documents to our office to come and file. When the company hasn't filed it in their own books, our office is not your register. Every company has its own register. So that is what I want to drown. Because they'll do a change of shareholders The company secretary will not even know this person has become a shareholder of the company. They'll run to our office to file the share transfer. You got what I'm saying? I don't make shareholders. Then they'll be writing to us that we should remove this shareholder and put that. I don't make shareholders. I don't make directors. Those things have to happen at the registered office first. And then after 28 days, you inform us with the right forms. But you don't run to our office removing directors when you never held the right meetings to remove the director, and then come and remove them from our office and be compelling us to send, all kinds of issues. That's all I'll say. Thank you so much.